He told jokes on stage. He played the piano with, well, let's just say unconventionally. And yet, Volodymyr Zelenskyy went from a comedic performer in post-Soviet Ukraine to a wartime president, and more importantly, a global personal brand recognized from Washington to Tokyo, from Silicon Valley to Davos. How does something like that happen? How does a comedian turn into a $100 billion brand of leadership, hope, and image warfare? This is not a political story. This is a business case study. Because what Zelenskyy did, millions of entrepreneurs, marketers, and influencers try to do every day: build trust, influence opinion, dominate headlines, and command attention in a noisy world. This is the story of how he did it. The humble roots. Kryvyi Rih Zelenskyy was born in 1978 in an industrial city in Ukraine called Kryvyi Rih. His family? A mix of engineers and academics. His father was a professor. His mother, an engineer. There was no glitz, no showbiz. But there was one thing that shaped him early: Soviet television. In a world of gray streets and crumbling concrete, the TV offered color, satire, and escape. Zelenskyy was glued to it. Not to the news, but to the humor. Comedy was rebellion. It mocked the powerful, subverted the serious. Zelenskyy saw it, and he felt it. Comedy could be power. The first stage, KVN at university, he studied law. But his real education was in the theater. Zelenskyy joined KVN, a Soviet-born competitive comedy show that functioned like a mix of stand-up, improv, and sketch comedy. Think of it as Ukraine's version of SNL, but mixed with the voice and national pride. He wasn't just good, he was dominant. He led his team, Kvartal 95 inches, to multiple championships, and their fame exploded. They weren't just funny. They were clever, subversive, and loved. But this wasn't just performance. It was Zelenskyy's first lesson in audience psychology. What makes people laugh? What makes them cheer? What makes them remember? That's brand building in its rawest form. And Zelenskyy? He was taking notes. Kvartal 95, turning talent into business in the early 2000s, Zelenskyy made his smartest move. He turned his comedy team into a full-fledged production company. Kvartal 95 wasn't just a brand, it was a content factory. They made TV shows, films, concert, satirical series, and Zelenskyy? He was at the center of it all: writing, producing, acting, directing. But most importantly, he understood scale. Kvartal 95 created content for the people. They used familiar language, relatable humor, everyday problems. This wasn't elite art, it was mass-market entertainment. And that meant mass attention. Zelenskyy didn't just perform. He built a media business. And his face? It was everywhere. Servant of the people, the character becomes real. In 2015, Kvartal 95 launched a show that changed everything. Servant of the People, a political satire where Zelenskyy plays a schoolteacher who accidentally becomes president of Ukraine. The twist? He wins by accident, but governs by integrity. He's honest, fearless, anti-corruption, pro-democracy, a man of the people. Sound familiar? This fictional character outperformed real politicians in popularity polls. Why? Because Zelenskyy was testing something deeper: personal brand transfer. If people love your fictional version, can they love the real you? The answer? Yes. The leap, from screens to ballots. On New Year's Eve 2018, while most Ukrainians were drinking champagne and watching fireworks, Zelenskyy did something no one expected. He announced his real presidential campaign. Not through a press conference. Not on state TV. On Instagram. He bypassed the system. No political party. No elite donors. Just a phone, a green screen, and an audience that already trusted his face. Within months, his new party, named after his fictional show, Servant of the People, won not just the presidency, but a parliamentary majority. This wasn't a fluke. It was the execution of a brand to ballot funnel. Building the brand in power, being elected is one thing. Staying relevant is another. Zelenskyy used media infrastructure to maintain his image. Frequent video addresses with clean, viral-ready production. Merchandised messaging. The olive green t-shirt, now iconic. Digital diplomacy. Remote speeches in parliaments worldwide via Zoom. Social storytelling. Framing complex war situations in emotionally digestible formats. Zelenskyy didn't rely on journalists to tell his story. He became the media. He built a presidential influencer model that no leader had tried before. The business of global sympathy. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, Zelenskyy faced a challenge: stay or flee. He stayed. And the cameras were rolling. His first speech, shot on a phone, with his ministers behind him, streetlights overhead, went viral. It wasn't staged. It was raw branding. Every word, every outfit, every frame since then has been part of a calculated narrative. Ukraine is David. Russia is Goliath. And Zelenskyy is the voice of resistance. This story wasn't free. It attracted billions in foreign aid, attention from celebrities, CEOs, tech companies, and governments. This isn't to say it was fake. But it was masterful communication. And communication is business. Monetizing the message. While Zelenskyy doesn't sell products, his image has value. His speeches are rebroadcast by networks worldwide. His interviews get millions of views. His face sells. Charitable campaigns, NFT projects, advocacy merch. His likeness has become shorthand for courage, resilience, and modern leadership. That's brand equity, and companies pay billions to reach that level. Critics, risks, and the dark side of fame. Every brand has backlash. Zelenskyy has been accused of over-curating his image, centralizing media control, turning politics into performance. Critics say he blurs the line between authenticity and showmanship. But here's the truth. That's what powerful brands do. They tell stories. And stories are always selective. Lessons for entrepreneurs and creators. So what can you learn from Zelenskyy? Start with trust. He earned trust through years of comedy before ever talking politics. Own your platform. He didn't wait for news networks, he became the channel. Consistency is branding. The olive shirt. The speaking tone. The background. Repetition builds recall. Narrative beats noise. In a crowded world, people remember stories, not stats. Every crisis is a stage. Leaders either rise or disappear. Zelenskyy rose, with the cameras on. Volodymyr Zelenskyy didn't just stumble into power. He built a multi-decade career in storytelling, psychology, performance, and production. When the world gave him a microphone, he already knew how to hold it. And whether you agree with him or not, whether you support his politics or not, one thing is clear. Zelenskyy turned attention into influence. And influence into global leverage. He's not just the president of Ukraine. He's the CEO of one of the most powerful personal brands in the 21st century.